Heavy Satire will still give me about 1 million views a day, whereas News will give me consistently 2 million views a day.
Okay.
I thought he said nudes, but he meant news. All right,
he did not say nudes. He said news.
Quick submission.
Okay.
Anyone can get it. Pull up with his Addy. Remember hopping out of Civics. I'm just chilling. Look, give a fuck about it.
Yeah, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the grave.
Look at Franz.
The more I get from you, the stranger it feels. Yeah. And now that it's shooting the shit, welcome back. You got me, you got Japan and myself, and You got Franz, Mr. OK954, and we got Frost Crush 32.
Yes, sir.
And yes, the song we were singing is "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal, one of the greatest songs ever made. So yeah. How'd you like that intro? How was that? That was good, right? Let's leave. I didn't see that coming. What'd you say, Franz? I was talking, so I couldn't hear you.
They had that song stuck in my head all week, man.
Oh, it's a fucking bop. It's a bop.
I almost rewatched Batman just because of that.
You know what's crazy? I forgot that shit was in Batman. I forgot all about that. And then I was like, wait a minute. How come in this music video? That's right. It's in Batman. I was like, now I got to watch Batman. Tiffany's been wanting to watch Batman too. I'm just like, damn. Like, what did I do to ours? What did I do to myself? How did I do this?
Almost
the
did.
Stranger Thing. I've been binge watching Stranger Things, and that song is just in my head.
Oh,
non-stop.
I
make a deal with God.
Make a deal with God and
That's
get
my
on
shit.
to swap out places. Be running up that hill. Be running up that
Yeah,
road.
that's my shit.
that song goes in too. That's just a low key bop. It's like, man, I wouldn't listen to that over anything else, but if it came on, I'd sing it.
Fact.
But so we're gonna make a quick detour in some of our talking points. I'm also about to go live on TikTok too, so we gotta, language it. We can't say nigga too much,
Sir.
Franz.
Yeah, Franz, that's you. That's
Looking
you,
at you,
man.
Franz.
I already have, before I even post the video tomorrow, I have to edit that part out. And I don't even know at what part in the video. I have to watch the whole thing now so I can find it. You know how annoying that shit is, man? Shit's crazy. I'm gonna be like, let me go ahead and be shooting the shit episode. But yeah, man. So episode 6?
Episode 6.
Yeah, 6. Franz, you should just periodically say it throughout the entirety of the
Y'all gonna get my whole account banned. Y'all
just random times.
Nigga.
Oh yeah, you already got the account warning too. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I had one earlier. Not maybe before I took my first little break, I had one. And they were like, yeah, you've been flaming people too much. Too many of your videos been reported. That's when I had to start putting my shit on YouTube because that one dude just kept reporting my shit. Like, he was talking mad shit, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to report you. I'm like, okay, cool. That's how you... I feel it. That's how you feel.
Sorry, I was muted. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I hate about TikTok is the fucking people who just sit there and mass report your account, and then the TikTok development team is like, oh, well, we don't really know what we can do about it. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what you can do?
But I got me a new little shtick. Every time I flame somebody, I'm using this from now on.
The puppet? You are not. Is that a Charmander? What is that?
No, it's a baby shark.
Oh, baby shark.
Instead of talking, yeah.
Like, that's actually pretty fucking funny.
I don't give a shit about what you said.
Yo, what's up, Jordan? Thanks for joining in, man. We're actually live right now on TikTok. So everybody say what's up to Jordan. What up, Jordan? You can't really hear them. I'm gonna have to unplug my headset. So just give me a second. But yeah. So let me do that. Audio and video. Scroll. Yes, we see the microphone. And
where anybody's wondering what I'm doing.
Oh wow, that's so loud.
The baby girl, her new bed.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought you were doing the coffin for the vampires.
That too.
We can't hear you, Japanimir.
And I hear they're coming back.
Ah, they are.
Yeah, them damn vampires, them damn vamps.
Especially the ones that don't pay their taxes.
Very true, very true. So we're gonna make a quick detour because I know we're gonna talk about what you wanted to talk about, Frost, because I did like that talking point. But I think we're gonna spearhead this, and we're gonna talk about Brittany Griner real quick, and what's been going on with that whole situation. So, I'm going to grab a picture of her just to put up on the screen, so that way it's there, and you and Franz can start talking about whatever you guys got to talk about in the
Isn't that
meantime.
the lady that's been in prison, like in Russia, the basketball player?
Yeah, she just got sentenced to 9 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is very insane that happened, but
Couldn't be LeBron.
man, it probably wouldn't have happened to LeBron, and for multiple reasons. But we'll get into that. Let me get this picture of her up here.
She's 6'9", worth
she's
$5 million.
so tall.
Yeah,
6'9"?
Yeah, she's tall. She's tall.
It's like, hey,
she is a giant woman.
Yeah, and she's good. She's a great basketball player.
She's so good at basketball. So good. So good.
But she should have been smarter. Knowing we are at the brink of World War III and Russia and China being our biggest adversaries, our opponents for this new, you know what I'm saying? We are literally proxy wars against Russia and China in other areas of the world, whether it's economic proxy wars or straight up military proxy wars. And be smarter, yo. You a millionaire. You a millionaire.
Especially for some drugs, bro. Like you can buy them you got the bread, you can buy them anywhere.
So pretty much what happened with her, she was getting ready to travel because she had got a contract to go play basketball in Russia, because they don't pay the women's league as much as they pay the men's league for a multitude of different reasons, but we won't get into that right now. So she had her vape in her stuff, like in her travel bag, and when she was getting ready to clear customs over in Russia, they were like, "Oh, you're trying to smuggle drugs in here." And she was like, "I'm not trying to smuggle drugs," but they have really strict rules on laws on marijuana and stuff over there. So then they locked her up. So now the problem that's going on, especially here in America now, is we got a lot of people like, "Oh, this wouldn't have happened if it was LeBron," or, "Oh, this is only happening to her because she's a black woman. Where are the black men? Why aren't black men saying things?" And all types of shit like that. But what I think people are failing to realize is that the entire situation is just stupid. The entire thing is dumb. The entirety, like from Russia having rules and shit on marijuana, that's stupid. The fact that you could have just done a simple Google search before you left to go to Russia to see if they had any laws against marijuana, and the fact that you didn't do that, that's stupid. The fact that people are comparing it to like if it was LeBron James, I don't even know. Like my thing is LeBron James would have used his money and his influence. What's up, Chemist? And his team to say like, "Hey, look up anything so I make sure I don't get caught up in any bullshit while I'm trying to fly over there," or whatever the case may be. And she should have done the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. That wasn't done. So now there's a consequence to be paid. Do I agree that she should be locked up for that long? Of course not. I don't agree with that. I think that's stupid. But that's Russia. And we all know Russia has a lot of strict rules. We know that. The people there know that.
An American has a great influence over her sentence as well.
Exactly. And the people don't take that into consideration either. You're going into hostile land, really. You think about it, we're not allied with Russia, never have been allied with Russia. So the fact that you're going over there already, most of the people on that side of the world fucking hate Americans. Right? So you go over there and now you done got caught up. Oh yeah, we're on the podcast right now, Carlos. And so you go over there right now, and you get caught up in that shit. It was on you. All you had to do was sit there and say, "Let me Google search this. Oh, okay, I should not be carrying weed because if you get caught smuggling weed, it's a however long sentence. Won't do that." We're in a war with them, right? Well, we aren't in a war right now, but getting ready to, just in case. They're in a war. They've been bombing Syria. They're in a war right now with fucking Ukraine. Like, that is a crazy country right now for you to be fucking around with their laws, right? So now you're locked up. I don't see how LeBron gets figured into it. That to me is just a dumb argument because I'm gonna be real. LeBron is probably the most loved and hated basketball player in the league right now. He's got an equal amount of supporters and an equal amount of haters. Most of the people would be like, yeah, fuck LeBron. He got locked up. That's his dumbass fault. And then other people would be like, oh no, we got to go save LeBron. We got to save LeBron. Like, it would be the same shit that's going on right now. I don't think it would be any different. Me personally, I don't think it would be any different. I can understand why people would think that it would be different, and I 100% agree with that in the sense of where you get that mentality from. I get that. Aries, you got to stop doing this, man. Like, if you want to be in the podcast, you got to sign up like everybody else. Anyway, so my issue is that you got a lot, especially on TikTok, you got a lot of women going like, this is only because she's a black woman, and I just don't think that is true. I don't. I really don't think.
I feel like it's 100% because she's an American woman. That's it.
That's what I think it is. I would more so agree. Oh, I do agree. We got a comment from Jordan. He says, yeah, 9 years is absurd, but Russia is risky, and you shouldn't have even had that stuff near an airport. Very true. We all can agree on the fact that 9 years is a long fucking time to be thrown in jail over something so small like that. They could have just confiscated it. Even if she didn't know the law, they could have just confiscated it and been like, hey, we get it. You're American. You don't know this, whatever. But just like we've all been saying, it's Russia.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a fuck about an American.
Mm-mm.
Most countries don't. That's why you got to be careful when you go to other countries when you're traveling, because you get locked up over there. Oh, bro, it's a whole different
wrap.
It's a wrap. Yeah. You're gonna get fucked up, And they don't have laws that protect you in prison like we do over here. We only know we have a little bit of laws that protect you.
Yeah,
here, but you get what I'm saying. It's not like over there where they can just beat the fuck out of you and there's like absolutely no chance of repercussions. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. People don't realize that. So I think honestly, it's really on her, and that's why a lot of people. That's why the talk about this thing is so hard to talk about the Brittany Griner situation, because it's like people don't really understand like the Russian laws. We're American. Why would we, right? But at the same time, how can I have a shit ton of sympathy when you, a grown woman who knows how to use the internet, you're worth $5 million. There's no way you couldn't have hired somebody to do research for you, to make sure before you went. There's no reason. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, me personally, I wouldn't be getting into a basketball contract with Russia of all the countries in the world to go play basketball at. That's me.
Read the room. We are literally high tensions. Everybody's like, oh, we're about to be in nuclear war, nuclear Armageddon with Russia and China. Like, come on, bro. Come on. And then you black and you're gay. Like, that shit is accepted in other countries, but it's Russia. You know what happened with it? They did with the was it the Pussycat Girls? Is that what their name is? The band?
Pussycat Dolls?
No.
One of them, yeah. I think the Pussycat Dolls. Oh no, girls.
No. They're a Russian
group.
They're a Russian group. It's two women. Was it Pussycat? I forgot. Or
anyway,
Pussycat. But yeah. They like years ago. They they were advocating for rights for the LGBTQ community and Pussy Riot. Thank you. Pussy Riot group. Thank you. So they were advocating. They got locked up, and they keep protesting and kept getting locked up, and now that whole backing is just dead. You know what I'm saying? And Putin is freaking
insane.
President of Russia for life. He is just like President
He's a dictator. Like what? Like, but we got a comment. We got a comment from Jolly Yellow Nerd. He said it's hard to feel. Well, at first he said evening to everybody, and then he said it's hard to feel for her when she actually broke the law.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Bad timing.
Bad timing. Really bad timing. Like, she didn't mean to break it. Like I said, I do not think she purposefully did that. Like, I think she just put it in there. Used to traveling in America, so she just threw it in there. Nothing's gonna happen here, and then boom, all that happened. Hey, y'all in the comments though, can y'all please hit that like button? Like, just keep tapping the screen, get my likes up so we can get more people in here. Let's try to get a lot of people in here.
Likes and follows, let's get it.
Likes and follows, all that good stuff. But yeah, so that's my only issue. It's just she knew what she was getting into, or should have known what she was going to get into, and I just don't think it's our place to really be like to tell Russia what to do in this situation. Like, it's really not, unfortunately.
I mean, they wouldn't listen regardless.
They wouldn't listen anyway. Exactly. It's just.
And the reason I got 9 years.
Nice hair flip.
Thank you. I mastered it now. But no, the reason she got 9 years, the reason she got 9 years because it's an international incident now. You're not a Russian citizen. You're not even a Russian anything. You just sign a contract to work there. And Russia don't care about contracts. You break their law and you're not a Russian citizen and you're an American, of course they're gonna give you 9 years, like over some week, like as if you're this international smuggler or something. Yeah, because they're trying to hit this administration wherever they can. Like simple as that. Simple as that. And it hurts. It hurts. If you guys hear any like screws or anything like that, that's just
it's just crazy because no one's like really sitting here, really looking at the whole thing. They're just looking at the fact that she's in jail and they feel like because she's a WNBA player, no one's doing anything about it. Which I completely understand why you would think that. Like if this was happening in America and you were saying that, I'd be 100% agreeing. I'd be like, yeah, of course it's that's got to be the reason. But this is not happening here. This is happening over there. And that's what people keep forgetting. And like my sister just came out of Russia from she was in the she was in the Air Force. So as soon as all that shit started getting, they started pulling people out for just to make sure everything was good. She was one of the first people out, and she was like, "Yeah, shit was getting crazy over there." So I'm like, "That's wild." So shit was getting like. It's like, how do you not know that they were getting ready to go and mobilize? Like they've been talking about it, and I just don't get it. It just to me just doesn't make sense. Nothing around it. Oh, what's up, Flashback? What's up, Brokage? Dragon, what's going on, man? But yeah, so it's just like I said, the Brittany Griner thing, really just I don't know what we're supposed to do. Like as black men, I know our job is to protect black women, and I would love to protect this awesome black woman. I would love to, but in this case, what are we supposed to do? What do you want us to mobilize on Russia? Like you want us to go over there, pull her out of the prison? Like what do you want us to do?
Yeah, we got to stop him. Let's go get him.
We can show outrage. We can be like, oh no, fuck Russia. Like I say that on a daily, But like, oh no, fuck Russia. Bring back Griner. Like, you want me to buy a shirt? Like, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do here?
Here for real.
I don't know.
Man, you think we're gonna do that in another country? Come on,
send them an angry letter.
Yeah, hey, we can call it Karen. You want me to get a Karen over there? Like, we can do that. Send all the Karens. I guarantee you that. Like, it's crazy to me. It's so crazy. And then, Flashback says, unfortunately, it was one of those situations that we lack the power to do anything about, and that's very true. And and people need to realize that this is not an American issue. You know what I'm saying? If we did that for every American that got locked up in every other country, we'd be at war with every single country in the world right now.
Facts.
Let me tell you how many Marines got locked up in Japanese prisons, or how many army soldiers stationed in South Korea, got locked up in a Korean jail prison because of the bullshit they did. If we went, we would be at war with our allies, man. Germany, UK, man, I'm telling you.
It'd be wild. It'd be really wild. But so, I don't think we can really say too much more on this topic. There's really not too much to say, but I just wanted to hint on it because it's like what's going on right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop screen sharing and bring it back to us.
Wait,
but yeah.
Share?
One last point.
Yeah, I was screen sharing. It's mainly for the YouTube part.
One last point.
Hit on it.
It is black women are talking about on social media talking about black men. Don't we have a black woman vice president? Where's she at?
Bro, she hasn't been anywhere this entire. Like, if you want to talk about Kamala Harris.
I don't know
how I fucked that up. My bad. I mean, if you want to talk about her, we can. But she has been 100% non-existent. I have, and I don't really pay attention to the news like a lot. But like whenever I do watch news, I have not heard her name one time. I've heard Nancy Pelosi's going over to Taiwan. Shouldn't that be somebody? Shouldn't that be fucking Kamala Harris doing that? Like, if you think about it, like, what? Like, what is she doing? Why did we vote for this woman? What is her purpose? She's like, I'm just saying, I don't get it. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. But yes, Frost. I'm gonna let you spearhead the next topic because that was mainly a you thing that you wanted to talk about.
You say Franz or Frost?
I said Frost.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you all feel about how the media today has just pretty much destroyed social interactions between people on a day-to-day basis?
I feel like I don't think destroyed is the word. I think impacted would be more of the word that I would use for it, because there's still people like you, me, France, like people in like the millennial age range that don't really have a problem interacting with each other in person. It just seems like the younger generations tend to have. I'm not saying Gen Z. I'm talking about like the kids that are going to be raised by Gen Z kids. I think those kids are really going to be impacted by that because look at what they're being raised by. They're being raised by tablets.
Like honestly, if when you go out, you catch the bus or you ride a bike or go for a walk, it's to the point now where people they're focused on being in their phone.
Exactly.
Or they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to look at you, they don't want to shake their hand, they don't want to do any of that. It's just it's kind of ridiculous. It's gotten to the point where there is almost no social interaction between other people at all.
Unless you force it, or it even seems like people don't even really know what to say when someone's talking to them in person. It's really weird. It's really weird, especially us being in the South. It's really weird when Southerners aren't open about talking to each other. But I also think that a lot of that has to do not only with social media but also the current political climate, because everybody's so one side or the other. So it's like you don't really know. Like you might say something that might piss this person off without you even trying to.
Man, I agree with y'all. Ain't nothing much said about that. I agree with y'all. I said y'all hit the nail on the head.
We can't hear you now, Japan Amir. He's talking, but he doesn't know we can't hear him.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
No, you don't need to apologize. It's all good. It's all good. I was like, hey, it's Jeremiah. I can always make time for you, buddy. Ain't no problem.
Well, I try to jump into every one of your lives, but sometimes I'm not bald enough.
Sometimes you're not bald enough. It's Diaries of a Holy Night, Frost.
Oh, hey.
Frost says, what's up?
Oh, what's up,
I'm still waiting for him to come to Bama.
He said he's still waiting for you to come to Alabama.
To Birmingham.
To Birmingham.
Oh, I live in Alabama.
I know. You're supposed to be coming to Birmingham. We're supposed to be having lunch.
Once a year or something?
He goes there once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, because like all my relatives, all my relatives, it's my wife's relatives. They live up there in Mountain Brook.
Oh, wow. They live in Mountain Brook. I mean, I think you can hear him because I have my mic on and the phone's closed. I'm over here repeating
Mountain Brook's not too far at all.
They got money,
I don't. Yeah. But yeah, so no, but I agree. What do you think, what do you think, Jeremiah? Do you think that social media has in some ways impacted interactions with people in person?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I've walked up to very attractive women and immediately tried to, pay them for their service. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm done.
It's social media. Actually, they get offended if you don't. So I'm just kidding. With the whole OnlyFans things, and obviously that's a joke. I've never once done that because my wife would unalive me.
Yep.
I love talking to people. I don't do it much anymore because I used to. Whenever I go to the gym, I just kind of stick to myself. Because I'm 36 now, so I don't want to come off and be perceived by random people that don't know me like I'm some sort of 36-year-old creep.
Exactly.
People that have known me from back when I was weightlifting with them for years, I'll talk to them. But like now, I probably just seem like some jerk. I probably do seem like a creep because I just don't talk to anybody. But whenever I'm at like a condo, when I'm at like Pensacon and people know who I am, which is really cool, I'm like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, you can be yourself.
Yes.
No, I got that. I think a lot also, we got the gender war that's going on like all over TikTok. You got that all over Twitter. You got it all over every type of social media platform. So like now a lot of dudes are afraid to talk to women, and then women are like, why aren't y'all trying to talk to us? And then you got dudes, well, just last week you were saying fuck all men. So of course I don't want to come and talk to you. I'm not trying to. So it's like the interaction between people, because you could just hear so many different people's ideas and where they think all across the internet at like in an instant. I think it just overwhelms people. So when they try to have a conversation with somebody, in person, they don't even know how to start it or what to even say at that point. And I think that that's, super wild. I think that I think as a society, we need to take a step back, and people need to realize that social media is an addiction at the end of the day. Like it really is. And just like any type of addiction, you got to moderate it. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in it. And that's just the truth,
and I'm glad you bring this up, because I do get lost in it. Because like, if I'm getting to the point where it's like, if I don't get 2 million views in a day, I immediately have to go back to the drawing board and say, what happened? What videos are not clicking? What videos are clicking? Like, I took 4 days off and put my thing on private so I wouldn't get, destroyed, or, because I need to get paid by the creator fund, because that's an extra $2,000 a month for me.
Oh, and, wow.
Well, yeah, but I also, I do YouTube Shorts. I'm starting to do Instagram, because I think Instagram's going to be, massive. But for those 4 days, my things went down to like 40,000 views, which I hadn't seen since I started the Creator Fund.
That's, for those who don't know, Jeremiah has a pretty big account on anime TikTok. So for him to not be getting at least 1 million views in a day is ridiculous. Like it literally just doesn't make sense. So that's why it's unheard of. Exactly, Frost. So just for those who maybe not be on TikTok who are following us, I just wanted y'all to know that. Continue, Jeremiah.
Well, my first day back, I had 1.5 million. Like, and that was from residual views. And then the second day back, I started getting the glitch. The glitches were like, you're only getting 200 views in an hour, which, I've got 971,000 followers, so it doesn't make sense. Followers to see it within that first hour, and then that kind of accumulates from there. But the thing is that I've unniched myself, and every time you unniche yourself, they penalize you. And I do mostly news now, but I do still do anime satire, because anime satire will still give me about 1 million views a day, whereas news will give me consistently 2 million views a day.
Okay.
I thought he said nudes, but he meant news. All right.
He did not say nude. He said news.
He said news. That's like nudes.
But I'm also gonna go ahead and I'm gonna patch you into the to the podcast, Jeremiah, via screen sharing.
So sexy.
Well then, here we go. Screen sharing.
That would be sexy, as we're talking about.
Well, then, here we go. Can y'all hear him?
Yeah.
Frost, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, cool. We're all here. But yeah, so I got you playing on one of my monitors, and so now the people can actually see your face when you speak. So now it won't be as confusing, Jeremiah. This is actually a cool way of bringing in guests. We should do that, I think. Yeah, we could definitely do it like that. But yeah, but I think the interaction, because of how people are so volatile now, I think that's what's really killing it. And then you got like a
time lag.
So now it won't be as confusing. Is there going to be a time lag? There is a little bit of a time lag. Yeah. We should do that. I think.
I'm talking.
Maybe I could. Hold on, I can fix that. Let me do this. Yeah. Stop sharing. Share. No sound, and then share it.
So, what happens when you get this white, problems happen. No, just kidding.
Jeremiah said that. But yeah, I really think that there's just a whole bunch of people out here that always have had these like hardcore beliefs and thoughts, and then they get online and then I see that other people have these hardcore beliefs and thoughts. So then yeah, they can talk to them like normal people online, because it's like everybody's having, it's an echo chamber. So now you feel, okay. And then when it comes to an interaction with people, you're like, is it safe for me to talk? Like, you know, they retract.
Right.
Well, there's so many racists online. Goodness gracious.
Oh, there's a shit ton of
it's
racists
ridiculous.
online. And that's another thing. Like, people are really starting to like question who they talk to now. Like, you're seeing a lot of negativity everywhere. You're seeing all the bad types of people. And you're seeing a lot of bad types of people that look a certain way. So then when you see people that look like that, you're like, I don't want to talk to them because they might be, you know, racist or something like that. And then you're over here like, oh no, I don't want to talk because they may be, you know, a Republican or they may be a liberal. I don't want to talk to liberals. And then that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now, Freshie, I'm not going to let you in. You want to know why? Because you were in the podcast last week. So no, Freshie.
He said no mas.
But yeah, so I just think there's a lot of people out there, and a lot of people really just, they don't, you know what I mean? They just don't know how to talk anymore. And then like and now you got online dating. So, you know, that's a really big thing. So now a lot of dudes and girls don't really know how to just like meet somebody at an event or something and have that conversation because you're so used to just, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that new One Punch Man chapter? Yeah, in a little bit, but not right now. Because we're on shooting the shit. This is my podcast, and we're gonna do what I want to do.
Yes.
But yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I don't really know, man. Like I think that I think that it's definitely impacted interactions. I think, you know, there's a lot of parents that raise their kids using tablets, so their kids are gonna grow up and they get on YouTube at a young age. Even my nephews will be on YouTube, and I'll be seeing some weird stuff that they be watching. Not that it's like bad for kids or anything. It's not like outwardly bad, but it's just like it's weird. It's a lot of weird shit out there. So it's just, he said he's fun enough to join again, laughing face. Who else is trying to join? So many people are trying to join. Okay, I'm going to bring Bro Kage in. So we're going to have another guest on the panel, everybody. It's going to be a big podcast today. This is a crazy idea. But yeah, that's what I think. Bro Kage, what do you have for it? Do you think that social media has impacted in real life conversations with people?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if we think about like, okay, so everything you're saying, I think is absolutely, it's absolutely valid. I mean, think about just, okay, so to put in perspective, I'm 28 years old, so I can think about maybe when I was like 12 or 13, like kids went outside and they played with their friends, right? We didn't have, even smartphones capable enough to be able to even broadcast a YouTube video. And the second that came out, that seemed like mind-blowing technology. And that was all the way like the 3GS. So the way that people are interacting with people are so used to sliding in people's DMs. And like you said, with the whole, this Tinder phenomenon or online dating phenomenon, what we're finding is that, girls have a vast amount of options. A lot of the guys feel unseen. And then on top of that, since there is this vacuum of feeling like you could get something done on Tinder or wherever the case may be. When I say get something done, like have some romantic connections or whatever the case you want to do, then a lot of people are kind of going to the easy process. So then when they go out to a bar or whatever the case may be, people are on their phones, and it's hard to have that, human to human connection. That I think that when we are away from our phone, we realize like how important, how integral it is. So I absolutely agree.
That was very well said. I don't have any objections to that.
To kind of add on to what he was saying, like, so I'm originally born and raised in Chicago, so I was not used to, person to person interactions outside people of my age group. But when I first moved down here to Alabama about 14, 15 years ago, maybe 16, the Alabamians, the majority of the people were friendly. They walk up to you, they talk, hey, how you doing? How's the weather? Just try to shoot the shit with you. But now,
he said it.
Bang bang.
within like the last I'd say 5 to 6 years, all of that has just been completely destroyed. You rarely see kids go outside, and I understand it's because a lot of children have been getting snatched. But even in like secluded areas, like where you see like cul-de-sacs, where usually you would see a lot of kids either outside playing basketball or riding bikes, you rarely see that. When people are walking down the street, they're in their phones or they're on the phone or just doing something with some type of electronic. Like you used to see kids on Game Boys outside playing games with each other. Even now, you got like free Wi. You got most games have Wi-Fi so kids can remotely share and be outside with each other. But you don't see people outside as much. Period.
That's why Pokemon. Remember the Pokemon Go when it first came out? Remember how
Yeah.
crazy that was? That was the first time in a minute where you just saw large groups of people hanging out, having a good time outside. But guess what? It was still connected to that phone.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't
was
just
like gaggles of people outside though.
Yeah, I even had friends that were like, "Yo, you want to like meet up at the park, like 30 of us, and just like try to catch all these Pokemon?" I'm like, "How about we go to the park and play basketball? Like, put the phone down. Like, what are you like? Come on." So, no, I mean, say what you gotta say. If you got something to say.
No. I didn't want to interrupt you because I think I'm not sure if this this is your podcast.
Oh no, you're good. You're good, man. You guys are the guests.
I would say even in that sense, right? We have this group gathering where people are enjoying virtual reality, something that they care about all at the same time. I don't think particularly that's really the problem. They're whether they're going out and they're doing basketball or whatnot, there's going to be some, especially if you're going with 30 people, right? And all 30 of these people or 20 of these people, you're going to be interacting with one another. I think my bigger thing is, how do we get to the point where like, because where the world is moving, right? Like even with Facebook changing its name to Meta, right? The metaverse, right? I think I'm more so not worried about the integration with technology and like outdoors and communication between a lot of people where they're connecting. I think what my issue more so is that we're starting to move more and more towards, I would say, and I'm not saying that it's bad to be introverted. I'm just saying we're moving towards the idea that like external human communication will possibly be obsolete with the metaverse, right? What they're really trying to do is they're trying to get like virtual reality space where like, you put on a headset and instead of, you walking to, the bar to hang out with your friends, you can virtually go do that. And while all that stuff is great and it's cool, like you said, I think there's so many people that are just so out of touch and human connection is a big deal. We are social animals, and I get that this is in a social aspect, but human touch, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, we always
take it easy, Jeremiah.
But,
I agree. I think that was very well said again. And this is coming from a Naruto fan. I'm very shocked.
Hell, in 10 years, we're going to be like Sword Art Online or Ready Player One.
Exactly. We're definitely headed towards Ready Player One, for sure. That is definitely, I think, where we are headed from. I'm bringing Son Sinju in.
I'll be our Lord, just to let y'all know. So,
what did you say?
I'll be our first Lord. We're going to get Sake out of here, so might as well. Let's say it, claim it.
Oh, okay. You're good. Welcome, Son Sinju. Welcome to Shooting the Shit. Welcome to my podcast, sir.
Oh, shit. You're doing a podcast?
Yeah. Welcome to it.
I did not know that.
What?
Cool. Let's do this.
How do you not know I'm doing a podcast, man? It said it in the title of my live, sir. In the title of my live. You don't read?
I just join things.
Wild. But yeah, so I like, bro, Kage, you're 100% correct. I really do. It is weird. It's a weird new way of thinking of life because, like, look, we got a neural link that they're trying to like download, your brain into computers and shit like that.
Or art.
Like, once they do shit like that, we're gonna get stuck in a game verse. That all that shit that all those isekais talk about, dot hack, all that shit, that's coming, and it's kind of crazy.
Said dot hack,
bro. Dot hack is
He said dot hack. Oh, man.
Dot hack. I'm OG. I'm OG. I ain't gonna say no. Like, you can't have none of those video game isekais without dot hack. That's just the truth. I don't care what nobody says. That was the original. They were like one of the first to do it and do it right and give you real stakes. I mean, everybody was dying. But anyway, so it's just crazy. It's a really crazy world that we're living in, and what we're moving towards, I think, is very like equally also interesting in that sense as well. Jolly Nerd says physical social interaction may become rare one day, like an episode of Twilight Zone. Very true.
Yeah. I highly doubt that.
You doubt it? Okay, why do you doubt it?
Because men are men.
Well, look at Japan.
I feel that. Okay, elaborate though, because we are on a podcast. We got to give information with what we say.
Mm-hmm. So this isn't like to say like a misogynist way or anything. I'm just saying that men, as long as we are allowed to be men in the right way, physical touch with a woman will never stop.
Okay, let me raise you something. So, like I said, they got the Neuralink, right? So if the Neuralink works 100%, and then they do get us downloaded into games, right? You're going to be able to feel, touch, eat, and sleep. Now, you may not get full off of eating, but you'll definitely get what you need out of the other parts,
Right.
The other woo-haws.
The other woo-haws.
Yeah, but there's something about waking up next to a significant other and then going right back and doing the business.
Hey.
And then having to wait to plug yourself up.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. Imagine how many times you could theoretically do it if your brain is downloaded into a game. Mm-hmm. Like there is no recharge time. You would still get the same stimulus. Your brain is still gonna feel like you're getting the same thing.
It's gonna be an addiction.
You don't think people are gonna get lost in that?
It doesn't
think
have
of it
to be
like
the same
gamer.
one.
It's gonna be worse than
they have a lot to work out.
Very true. Very true. Very true. Like I said, I do think that I think that in some aspects, I think you're not. I think you're right. I think there's still going to be things that dudes would want to do as dudes, and like most men tend to want to like, oh yeah, hey, I'll go beat your ass outside. Let's go box. Like, hey, you got gloves, Franz? Let's go do it. Yeah, like exactly. So I feel like,
and this also goes for women too. Women still like to do what they do with their dudes and stuff like that. I don't think it'll be a major thing. Well, the regular women that I know and all that stuff like that. So
what's up, Juice?
Hi, Juice.
Juicy.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things. It's like it's so weird because we're like smack dab in the middle of the evolution of it. You know what I'm saying? Like most people in our age range, we were here before social media was even really a thing. Like I know all y'all remember chat rooms, right? Like that's what social media was AOL. I don't know if Sun Sinju remembers that. He's a young guy.
Yeah, I remember when we didn't have internet.
Skate, MySpace.
Bro, no way.
I think what's interesting about our age group, which is like the older of the millennials, is we experienced what life was probably like for the majority of people in I'd say like the 80s to the 2000s, which was
very true.
Kind of technology. It wasn't like technology wasn't such a focal point in society. And what's interesting is all at the same time, I said this one time. I said, like, people who were born in like the 1990s or whatnot, we did all the things that our parents did, and yet all at the same time, we see the natural this rapid progression in technology that makes us so different. Like, I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 28. I would imagine you guys are somewhere in that realm.
Yeah.
And it's just like the people who were before us, right? They grew up without this completely, right? And the people after us, they grew up with this, they can't even think about a reality without technology. We're kind of in this weird middle ground. We went through the phases of having a Nokia phone that had one ringtone on there and had a 1 megapixel camera, and we were texting on a text pad rather than on a touch screen. This is like a weird situation. Like, we experienced our parents having pagers and then moving all the way to the Razor and then to the 3GS. And then now we've got these crazy phones that can do all different types of things that we could have never imagined. Like our smartphone is much better than what computers that we had, even 10, 15 years ago. So it's like we live like us in this particular generation. It's really weird because we are like at the pinnacle of this rapid growth. I would argue that these people who are born in the 1990s or late 80s, you get what I'm saying? We have seen the most rapid form of technology in the history of history.
Very true.
I agree with that.
No, I mean, if you really think about it, look at what you just said. We went from having dial-up, like literally within a span of like 6 years, we had dial-up internet, which came out in like what, 1994, 95, and then literally right as we're about to hit 2000s, we got high-speed internet. Now, granted, we got DSL, exactly. That shit came fast as fuck, and then right after that, it just kept going and going and going and going. Like, I'm telling you.
Now we're on 4G and fiber wire, and
fiber wires coming out. We're fiber optics, all that shit. It's crazy the amount of technology that we have seen it evolve. Like, man, y'all remember how you had to have 2 phone lines just for your mom to be talking on the phone and you to be playing on.
Facts, yeah.
Man.
Even what's crazy about that too, even if you think about like, let's say 2015, right? 6, 7 years ago, right? People were still working with 20 megabit internet. And what's crazy to me about that, right, is like, you got to think about what that translates into even 7 years later today. 20 megabit internet today is trash.
Oh my God, yeah.
Crazy stuff back then. You know what I'm saying?
It's like graphics in video games too. Like, look at that shit. Like, remember being like 8 years old playing like NBA Jam, and you're like, holy crap, these guys look so realistic. Oh,
and you look at it now, and you're like, wow, this is
you
trash.
can see the sweat rolling off of people's like eyebrows, and you can like see the skin like wrinkle up when they get punched in these boxing games now. It's insane. Like, the amount of technology that has just like flown through is really crazy. Like, you were definitely on it. You hit the nail on the head again, Charles. Gosh, dog, man, he's nailing it today. My God.
Charles on a roll.
He's on a roll. What else you got? Now, yeah, you're gonna be the showrunner right now for Shooting the Shit. It's Shooting the Shit with Charles.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, I guess now that kind of brings us to our anime segment anyway. So like that kind of worked pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
So typically, guys, I know you guys are new to how I do things at Shoot the Shit. So we do the first like hour or 45 minutes on like just random things like that are popular in the media and things like that. And then we get into the segment where we talk about, pop culture stuff. So like anime, movies, TV shows, anything like that, anything new you've seen on social media, things you want to kind of bring a light to. But I earlier today was having a conversation. It's good we have Charles in here. I was talking to another friend that's also named Charles, and he was we were talking about who our favorite Naruto villains were. And I still to this day say, out of all the Naruto villains, I have 2 favorites. I have Orochimaru and Madara. And the reason I like Madara so much isn't even because of like his ideologies or anything. It's just the fact that man literally landed and then just easily took out more than 1,000 ninjas by himself and brought meteors down out of the sky and had some of the dopest one-liners that I've heard out of Naruto. And all that was just dope to me. So
I will argue that Madara is not a villain.
I mean, that's a good take.
I feel like he's an extremist. I feel like he's an extremist towards his ideology. He wanted everybody to be safe, and he wanted everybody.
Wait, hold on. We got 2 people talking. We got 2 people talking. Frost was talking. I don't know if you could hear him. Let me turn him up. Go, Frost.
All right. I was saying that Madara was an extremist in his ideology, but he wanted everybody to be peaceful and he wanted everybody to be safe. Now, he went about it in the most extreme way, trying to force everybody to do it, but I don't feel like he was a villain. That's not something that a villain would do. Like, hey, all you fuckheads, I want you all to be peaceful. I want you all to live in harmony. I want you all to be safe. That doesn't scream villain to me. That just screams general asshole, but he does want people to be safe.
Should I have used the term antagonist?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So my favorite two antagonists out of Naruto are Orochimaru. And the only reason Orochimaru, let me tell you why Orochimaru's up there. Out of most of the villains and antagonists that we've seen in animes, especially in shonens, he's the only one who really accomplished his goal. Because that dude's immortal now. Like
True.
that, you know? So you gotta give him props there.
Snaky,
so that's why I fuck hard with him. I think he's dope. I've always loved Orochimaru. But Charles, what do you have to say on that?
I mean, those are cool picks. I mean, you know, like I said, I'm not gonna, you know, bash people for what they like or whatnot. And I don't, you know, I guess I kind of get the appeal of Orochimaru. I mean, if you're into the, I'd say the more like Orochimaru is, I would say, a very selfish antagonist. You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say if it's up to me, I think the person that has the most consistent thematic relevance to the story of Naruto is, in my opinion, easily Pain.
Okay.
Pain was the antithesis of what Naruto was. They were basically two sides of the same coin. One felt that they wanted to bring about peace through fear, and the other wanted to bring about peace through essentially cooperation. And we see this cycle of hatred, you know, kind of repeated throughout the series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we have the shadows versus the lights. And what I would argue is that Pain opposing Naruto is that general clash that the entire series is trying to push forth of the message that there's this fighting that's going on because people aren't letting go, you know, honestly, like I would almost say like past inherent hatreds for each other and revenge, and Naruto symbolized that opposition. So there's a bunch of people on TikTok who will, you know, state that the way that the Pain situation went down wasn't the way that they wanted it to go down, which is somewhat understandable. But I think when I think about what the story and the message of Naruto really is supposed to be about, Pain is the antagonist or the antithesis of what Naruto wants to do. Not necessarily, they're trying to get to the same place. However, it's the antithesis of how they get to those places that I really like between the two of them.
I like that. I like that. That's a really good argument for him being like the best or the better of the antagonists. I think that's a really good one. That I would agree with that. I do think that, you know, and I think that's why they brought Pain into it, right? Was because one, he also looked like Naruto too. And I think that was also to show like, hey, Pain was essentially just evil Naruto, like when you really break it down, which really falls in line with what Charles was saying just then, because it does go about that whole cycle of Pain. And the fact that Naruto is supposed to be the one to break that, you can't do that without breaking Pain. So that's why why Naruto had to be Pain. Like it's just that's a really cool. I like the way you worded that, man. That was beautiful, bro. That was good.
I would like to argue that.
Okay, we got a rebuttal from Frost on it. He would like to pose a point.
I don't feel like Naruto wanted to bring about peace. I feel like he was more forced into that role because Naruto was more of a selfish person. His whole goal was to be noticed by everyone and to bring Sasuke back at any cost. And if you didn't go about the way Naruto reminds me of Gon from Hunter x Hunter. If you didn't want to go about the whole him trying to bring about Sasuke, he really did not want to be or go through with your ideals or do with what your plan had to deal with. Now, if it had to deal with him being stronger, okay, that helps me. That furthers me along on my path to trying to go get Sasuke. But honestly, I feel like Naruto was more forced into the whole savior role.
I don't think that. I understand where you're coming from.
Let's hold on, bro, Kage. All right, let's hear from Sinju. So what you gotta say, Sinju?
Oh no, I was gonna let him. I was disagreeing with Bro Kage. He can go ahead.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure he's gonna say exactly what I was gonna say.
Okay.
So
elaborate.
here's where I think there's I think Naruto's primary motivation of feeling like, okay, if I'm gonna be this Hokage, right? This person who brings about change, right? To the Leaf Village. If I'm gonna be different and leave my mark the way that I need to leave my mark, the way I want to leave my mark, how can I say I can do that when I can't even save one of my friends? Okay, so is some of this selfish? Absolutely, but I'd argue that the way that we view the ideas of selfishness, everybody does things for selfishness. Like when people are giving away their time to feed the homeless, I would argue that there's something intrinsic that we get from that feeling, even if it benefits other people and it's looked as a good thing. The thing about it is like to state that what he's doing is selfish. Yeah, I mean, I think anything is selfish, but do I think his general means has always been to be that savior, to be that Hokage, to be the difference, right? Like, because I'll give you another example, right? Hashirama had to do what he needed to do, right? But at any time, Hashirama was willing to let go of Madara, right? In order for him to achieve what his goals were. And the way that Naruto thought about it was, how can I be a good leader if I can't bring back Sasuke to the Leaf Village? How could I be that person? How could I solve all this hatred in the world if I can't even do that with my best buddy that I grew up with?
I think that's an interesting way of looking at it.
That's fair.
That's a to me like the whole Sasuke being Naruto's best friend to me just makes absolutely no sense, because if my best friend tried to kill me multiple times, I probably wouldn't want to be best friends with that person. But that's
anime
me.
though.
I know it's anime. I know that it doesn't exist in anime, right? Like where's the but anyway, but I do think that what you're saying though, Bro Kage, I do think that is very true. I do think that you have a very deep connection to Naruto, which is why I wanted to talk about Naruto first, because I figured you would have some awesome knowledge to bring forth, when you're not just trolling One Piece fans. But yeah.
Let me one bit.
All right, what's up, Sinju?
So here's the thing too that people fail to realize because when your boy brought out Gong, right? People have to realize Gong is a child. So of course he's gonna have his selfish ways and he's gonna have a way of thinking until he grows up. The same with Naruto. Naruto was a child that didn't understand why people hated him, and his goal was to be Hokage so people could understand. He started once he realized that no, acting out isn't the right way. I actually need to be good, and he started getting actual mentors and stuff like that. Like the first thing, Iruka Sensei literally changed his whole idea in like an episode or chapters or two about how he should be able to think about do things. So it wasn't really forced. It was more of a natural growing to understanding who he was. And besides, I'm not gonna lie, if I was a young kid and I saw that my best friend was leaving and stuff like that and all that, and I felt demoralized, I would feel demoralized too. That was my best friend. And me as a military brat, I used to have to deal with that a lot. So I think we still have to realize that yes, this may be anime, but there are realistic and thinking that they are still children, because at the end of it, Naruto is still a child or a teenager, and we don't. Everyone when they're young has a different way of thinking when they are right now.
True, I can see that. I would also pose, me personally, just for sake of conversation, I would also pose that they also, near the end, also when they were fighting again, Sasuke and Naruto, Sasuke was still trying to kill that man right after they've just finished this whole war. You see what I'm saying? They're both intelligent enough to know what's going on with the war. They have matured so much to the point that Sasuke was still trying to kill you. You see what I'm saying? To me, that's just not a friend. I'd understand you trying to say like I'm stronger than you, but Sasuke was trying to end that man multiple times, and we know Naruto was not. We know Naruto was not.
Oh yeah, Naruto was 100% holding back.
Naruto was holding back, and we all know that. We all can agree on that. Naruto would have ended Sasuke like it wasn't shit if he really wanted to. But the fact that Sasuke was so hell-bent on trying to kill Naruto, that to me, that's not a friend. I don't really care how you look at it personally. I would just, for sake of conversation, I would say that's not a friend to me.
True.
I understand the sentiment, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I mean, again, this part comes down to personal, I would say, preference or philosophy or whatnot. I think when we look at what happens, and like again, going back to the message of Naruto, right? This cycle continues to move forward as people start to become defensive, as people start to say, you were never my friend, or like when we look at the whole situation between Madara and Hashirama, I would argue that's what allowed, like, even though Hashirama was per se justified in, let's say, having to end Madara for the village's sake, right? We could also argue that that is what kept that cycle to continue. And that one aspect out of everything else, child of prophecy, all that different stuff, the one aspect about Naruto that makes him different and also that makes him special is the fact that he was willing to forgive. And that's what allowed this cycle of hatred to stop entirely. So, like, I do understand what you're saying on a person-to-person basis, but we've seen throughout the series how this has went, right? Like how this okay, you did this to me, this tit for tat, you know what I'm saying, turns into this reincarnation of hatred. And that's the difference with Naruto in particular than any of his incarnations or reincarnations.
I can see that. That's why I wanted to pose that. I wanted to hear more.
But no, I do get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you know, after how when's enough? Like, when's the line drawn?
Yeah,
you know,
like, because how many times, like, even when we were kids, you tried to kill me. Then when we grew up a little bit, you tried to kill me again. Now we just got done fighting in this war. You're still trying to kill me. So it's just like, damn, Sasuke, like, how many times are you going to cross that line? To me, it's more on Sasuke than it is on Naruto. I 100% respect Naruto for being super forgiving in that sense, because I know that I wouldn't be. I would have just ended Sasuke, been done with it. Like, you know, that's me if I was that strong. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, I think that's a really good take on that. Have y'all seen any like new animes though? So we can talk
Black
about
Summoner.
new?
Black Summoner is amazing.
Oh, so you did watch Black Summoner?
I did. You got me.
Have y'all seen Black Summoner?
No.
I've been watching 86.
You've been watching what?
86.
Oh, 86 is fucking fire. I love 86. But it's a
on my list
anime,
too.
so I have to love it.
I've been catching up with One Piece. I think I'm probably about, like, what did I say? Like probably about 970 chapters to like 1,000 chapters in. So I'm almost caught up.
Okay, so you're reading One Piece.
I'm reading One Piece because I personally feel is like, you know, I really wanted to get caught up because I wanted to get caught up because I wanted to see how disingenuous people really were to what is going on to the story. You know what I'm saying? And I also wanted to get caught up because, like I said, I mean, you know, I already seen Bleach, and not that I've seen the 1,000, you know, Blood War arc or whatnot. Seen all of Naruto, right? And so I felt like I wanted to complete that journey, you know, with this whole big three thing. And yeah, so I've been catching up on that. I was watching Ranking of the Kings, which is really great. But the reason why I'm reading One Piece over watching One Piece is because all of the stuff that I feel like a lot of people like really like about the anime, I don't necessarily agree with. I think Toei Animation really did One Piece really dirty because I watched. Okay, so let me put this in paraphrases, right? I watched One Piece probably 600 to 700 episodes a while back, right? So when I was talking about One Piece, people were acting like it was coming from nowhere, but I actually did watch a good amount of it, right? So I restarted my journey doing 10 chapters a day, right? And when I had watched One Piece, that's 700 chapters, probably up until about Dressrosa, I had felt somewhat indifferent to it. I thought it was like a 6 out of 10 type of anime or whatnot. But when I read the manga and all the terrible soundtrack was leaked from it, when I could use Zelda music to do this, and when I also was able to, you know, not hear these crazy laughs or, you know what I'm saying, some of the designs looked a lot better that were really goofy in the anime, I started to realize that, like, aesthetically I wasn't really messing with One Piece, but that there was a lot more there that I that I did actually like. You get what I'm saying?
No, I feel
When
you.
I got over the cinematic execution is what I'll call it, because I like what One Piece is giving. On the manga, I just felt like the cinematic execution. I think that they really fumbled that bag,
especially earlier on. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. See, for me, the reason I started reading One Piece is because I just wanted to know more, information that the anime itself doesn't necessarily give you. I watched the anime of One Piece because of the emotion that it gives you. Hearing the stress in their voice when they're mad, hearing the distraught when they're sad, hearing the happiness. Like Luffy's laugh to me is fucking amazing. That shit makes me want to fucking smile. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, but you can't, to me, you can't get that out of the manga. You can imagine it, but you can't get that. You don't get that out of the manga. So that's why, that's where I would say me and you would differ on that. But I do have something interesting to tell you. So my nephews wanted to watch Naruto, but we had started One Piece and we had made it to like, we were getting close to Skypiea. So I told him, I was like, hey, once we hit Skypiea, we can start watching Naruto, right? So we put the first episode of Naruto in, and my 9-year-old nephew, Gavin, he was like, we're watching it, we're about 15 minutes in, and he was just like, I feel like One Piece was a little more exciting at the beginning. I was like, well, let me tell you something about Naruto. I was like, the first couple episodes of Naruto, a little slower, but Naruto really does pick up very quickly, and you're going to get into a lot of good fights. You just haven't got to the fights yet. Once you get to the fights, then you're really going to probably be like, I want to finish Naruto. And so, and we started watching more Naruto. We got to where Rock Lee and Sasuke have their first little fight or whatnot. That blew his mind. Like he was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" And then he was like all about Naruto, but still wants to watch One Piece. And I just thought that was a really cool thing because we're so used to being on TikTok, and it's just like it's either one or the other. You know what I'm saying? But it's so cool to see like this little kid who loves them for different reasons. Like he likes Naruto for the fights, he likes One Piece for the characters. It's like just a really cool thing to see, especially dealing with people on TikTok.
I think it's much easier. I think also a hard part that I had to get over is because I think One Piece, even though it's not all, cotton candy and sunshine, I do believe that it's a lot easier to get into One Piece as at least when you're watching, especially like pre-time skip, as a as in adolescence. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta go to that.
I like that's just me personally because like I felt like when I was watching One Piece and I didn't get into it like that. I didn't have nearly the same criticism as I do like now, right? Like I said, a lot of the criticism I have with One Piece is because it's a little cotton candy. I think when you're younger, that's not something that's necessarily important to you. You know what I'm saying? You're 9 years old, you're 10 years old. And that's not me trying to bash one or the other, but I could see how somebody who's younger could connect more with One Piece than they would with Naruto, especially if you take into consideration how these animes start off.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, I feel that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I personally feel like One Piece starting out kinda is for a younger audience, but it gets darker.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And then Naruto starts out dark, and then as you progress, it gets progressively lighter. Because that was one of the things I was missing from Shippuden was like that, like this certain edge was kind of gone with a lot of moments for me. Like I remember like early Naruto was kind of crazy. Like they were really getting into a lot of the mentality and the psychology of being a child soldier more. Mm-hmm. And then you get into like Shippuden, and it's kind of like we're gonna like that was a little bit too heavy to start off with. We're gonna ease on the gas pedal, and then like it eased up a lot more on the really like heavy, hard hitting, emotional, psychological aspect until you get towards the end of Shippuden, which a lot of fans don't like. So like they miss all these more nuanced moments. Like if I had $1 for every time somebody in my comment section has made a joke that the only reason Obito started the 4th Great Ninja War is because he didn't get to bang Ren, I swear I would have $1 billion by now.
Oh yeah, like, that's that. Hey, that's how the Trojan War started, right? So like,
True.
I mean, so they're not too wrong, you know.
But like they don't. That is an example. Like they don't quite understand how much like mental anguish Obito was going through, because we don't really get to dive into the psychology of our characters like we did in part 1.
I see that. I mean, I do agree, because everything. I mean, I agree and disagree, because I mean, we did get a whole bunch of flashbacks in Shippuden that kind of showed you just about everything that was going on prior, which I could have lived without, but that's me personally.
Be honest.
But
did you watch all them flashbacks, bro? Be honest.
I did.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Once I realized that, like, 5 weeks in a row I was getting flashback after flashback after flashback, I literally dropped the entire thing until they got to the fight with Madara. And then I went back and then watched everything that led up to the fight with Madara. So yeah, I did skip all that. And because of that, I also now have PTSD that in any type of media, be it a movie, be it a TV show, live action, doesn't matter, I cannot handle flashbacks. I literally skip every flashback. I don't care. I don't even care if I'm going to be lost in the sauce of what I'm watching. I will risk that. I will risk my own intelligence on that.
How do you think we felt as
Nobody-
kids, like going to watch Naruto?
I don't blame you.
Like, it was just a lot. But hey, Sinju, can I swap you out real quick?
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you for coming to Shooting Shit. Thank you so much.
But yeah, though, like watching Naruto as a child, I went through almost a year and a half of filler. Every week for almost a year and a half, just nothing but filler. Maybe 2 years. I can't remember.
It just takes a while to get to. We're just talking about the filler.
In Naruto?
Yeah, Naruto. And Shippuden specifically.
I think people, if I'm being really honest, this is people are gonna act like I'm just tripping when I say this, is that they all have about equal amount of filler. Like, even when people say, oh no, One Piece doesn't, if you take into consideration that a well-paced manga, right, and I've done this math, believe me, a well-paced manga is about 2 chapters, right, per episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is, like, and you guys can look this up, what would be considered well-paced, right? If you can state that that's the case, right, that means that there's let's just say 1,050 chapters, right? That means that you basically cut that in half, right? There should be about 535 or so episodes of anime. That would be if it was, there was no filler, blah, 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 this or that. But let's even say I threw the 10% on top of that, right? That they claim that One Piece has, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would then add another 50 episodes. So now we're at 600 episodes. The argument that I'm pretty much making is that you can have it one way or another way, right? You can have full episodes of filler, or you can have absolutely terrible pacing. And my argument for this is the reason why we hate pacing, right, is because not pacing, filler, is because it wastes our time. And what I'm saying is that the One Piece filler, there's still a discrepancy of about 450 episodes that's probably due to pacing that I could equate to the same amount
as having something that's filler. No, I got you on that. My only argument would be, well, actually, it's not really an argument. It kind of furthers your point, because you were saying, like, filler and all this stuff. But Oda just, did come out and pretty much say that everything that we've been watching was pretty much filler. And now we're going to get into the real One Piece. So, like, I'm just going to be real. Like, honestly, I don't even know how to feel about it, because I love One Piece, and everybody knows I love One Piece.
Like it's amazing.
So
that's crazy.
I'm just sitting here and I'm like, that's crazy. That's the first writer that has ever written like a fuck ton of filler that I sat there and ate all that shit up like it was oh my god, So I agree with you.
I think that
about filler and more about world building. You know what I'm saying? He established everything to get the solid world building for One Piece out to this huge character-driven arc. You know what I'm saying?
I can agree to that. That makes sense too. I think One Piece does focus a lot on the world building. And then as a result, but then that does still lead into exactly what Brokage is saying, though. When you focus that much on your world building, you do have a lot of episodes, which means you have a lot of pacing issues, because you got to get this information out, but you can't get this information out faster than your growth of your characters or what's going on in the actual story, what people are really tuning in for as well. Right? We want to see Luffy, we want to see Zoro, we want to see these characters, but we can't just focus on them because you also got to build the world. So when you start building this overarching world, you do have to go like one episode at a time with it, and the pacing gets kind of thrown off because you want to know why this villain's doing what they're doing, but they were just doing this on this other island 10 days ago. So now you got to get that in the story. So that takes more time away. So it still falls in line with what Brokage is saying. The pacing in One Piece is honestly not the best. It's not an insult on One Piece. It's not a dig. It's not. It's just an observation. It is a lot of episodes.
I disagree. I would say that I do agree with you to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. I'm also saying that there are aspects that are just regurgitated. Like for example, like how many damn times do we have to hear about the Roger story? Like, how are we 700 episodes in, and you're still telling me about how Roger? You know what I'm saying? And people will make weird arguments like, oh, since it's canon, then that means that it's not wasting our time. Like, no, we don't need the same pretty much minute and a half, 2-minute flashback every single episode, you know? And then on top of that, a lengthy recap. And then not just that, right? It'll be certain things like somebody punches somebody in the face, right? And we literally get everybody's reaction. Like, we're talking about like the old man in the corner who doesn't have any dialogue, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about, you know, me as anime form, you know? Lucy and everybody else, and like I said, the point that I'm trying to make more so is that like the filler is, I could make an easy argument that like if we put this in perspective, to get to the episode, a lot of times we're 7 minutes into the episode.
Right.
What I'm trying to get is even if you take out the minute and a half opening, which I love openings because I love music. Let's just say that I don't consider that filler, of course, right? Then like we're still at like 5 minutes every single episode. Now take into consideration, right, that we're in, let's say, what'd you say?
I think the biggest thing with Toei is that remember One Piece is ongoing. It doesn't have breaks. It doesn't take seasonal breaks.
No, but what I'm saying is the anime keeps on going, but there's a purpose for fillers. What I'm saying, I'm just saying that like, whether you want to call it filler or fluff, it serves the same purpose, that the anime doesn't catch up to the manga. And what I'm saying here is that the One Piece filler, you know, I'm not going to say it technically, you get what I'm saying, is really just replaced with fluff throughout each episode. So when people say One Piece has 10% filler, I think that is disingenuous.
I feel that. Because it's like the fluff in each episode. It's like I think I did a video on that not too long ago. I think about a month ago, and I was like, yeah, I mean, really, you're only getting about like 10 minutes of One Piece when you factor in all the other stuff going on. And so so to that, I agree with you 100%, bro. Kage.
Well, to me personally, I think that's why I can enjoy One Piece so much because.
Hold on, Woni.
I was saying personally, that's why I think I can watch One Piece now, because when I was younger, I couldn't. It felt horrible to me, especially having to deal with the recaps and filler and so much. And to the point now where I can just skip through because I'm expecting and I know what's coming. So to me personally, that's why I can enjoy just One Piece overall, because I can just skip through most of that shit instead of having to be forced to watch it like when you were younger, like back in 2007 or 2003, whenever it came out.
Okay, what you got, Woni?
But you can skip really quick. You can skip the filler in Naruto though as well. Like it's actually easier to look up a filler guide and skip Naruto.
No, I was saying back when I started Naruto when it first came out, so you didn't have the ability to skip.
I do understand that. What I'm saying is that he made and I'm not trying to get at him at all. He made the statement, and you know maybe it was just out of context. You know what I'm saying? That like essentially like it's the filler that kind of, you know, bogs him down in what I assumed was present day. And what I'm saying is that like just like you can skip that, I would argue that when people argue that there's a bunch of filler in Naruto, it's much easier to skip 18 episodes in a row per se if you look up filler than for you to have to scroll through each episode and find where the mark that the episode actually starts. I'm not saying that it's that much more of a situation, but I think
it's more tedious.
Also, I didn't say present day. I said when it first came out.
He never said present day though, so that might have been the overlap from my microphone in the phone.
Okay.
Hokage isn't.
Okay, but Woni, what were you trying to say?
Yeah, when Matt first joined, I did want to ask. So you said that you feel like One Piece started off more childlike than Naruto did.
Yes.
When it started, but obviously that's kind of as it's progressed. I think with One Piece, kind of it balanced better than Naruto could at times. Was the fact that it could be childlike and dark, like literally from chapter to chapter, episode to episode. Sometimes from page to page or panel to panel.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm like. One Piece started off because the verse has more of a cartoony look. And Oda says that he's very influenced by cartoons. But I feel like One Piece, like even like the earliest stuff in One Piece, like when they meet Usopp, like a lot of that stuff is really like an adult, like Usopp's depression and like how he hangs out with children and like Kuro. Like Kuro was a very dark character. You know what I'm saying? And
I want to let you guys know that we are on a 10-minute warning. The podcast will be ending in 10 minutes, and I will be also terminating live in about 10 minutes, just so y'all know.
Cool. All right, thank you for the timer. I also didn't know this was a podcast. I just saw.
No, you're good. You're all good. We were trying something new. We wanted to see what it would be like to open the podcast up online and on TikTok, so we can go live at the same time. So it was actually pretty cool that people jumped in. So.
I still feel like the aspects of One Piece that people make. Okay, here's what I'll say. There are some aspects of One Piece that are deeper than what the surface would show, this cartoony picture or whatnot. However, all at the same time, I think that it still maintains that childlike feel for the majority of the series. And even up into post time skip, we still, like I said, I mean, I want to preface this because I've already pitched this to Matt a bunch of different times that we are in it first, right? With like vagabondless pirates. You get what I'm saying? Like, pirates. What do we think of pirates? We think of pillaging. We think of, give me your booty, that type of stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? What I'm getting at is like, if I had a show per se about Vikings and there was no or very little pillaging and killing, would it really be true to its essence? Or would it be kind of cotton candy? And I feel like that could still be held with One Piece. For example, my biggest criticism of One Piece is, well, one of them is like ridiculous plot armor, like ridiculous. I'm not saying that it's like there's not plot armor in the other series, but the first thing actually is the lack there of what I feel like your stakes or consequences, and especially in relations to death. And the way that I can prove that to somewhat of a standard that it is an objective writing principle that's not really it, is we have more fake out deaths than we actually have real deaths in present time. And before people start saying, oh, well, what about the stuff that happened before? That's past time. You know what I'm saying? This is us getting a flashback of a story that happened previous. But what I'm saying is, like, in present time, there's more fake out deaths. Like, I'll give you Whole Cake Island, right? Peckham's, I would argue, had 2 fake out deaths and arguably 1, which what I'm trying to say here is like, this is in one arc. There's so many more fake out deaths than there are, or what we call hoax deaths, than there are actual real deaths, which takes away from the tension of One Piece. I never am worrying that people are going to die in this verse, right? And yeah, maybe every so often it happens, right? But for the most part, people get out of situations that they shouldn't have, and they just pop up in the next 2 or 3 arcs like nothing ever happened. So even when I do see somebody die, I'm just like, okay, well, probably not dead.
Are they really dead? What's going on? I would say that I think that might actually start to change based on what Oda said. Like, he said he wants this next, what he's writing now, to just blow everybody's minds, and that would be something that would blow everybody's mind. Out of nowhere, all these characters dying, somebody dying, maybe one of the Straw Hats might die. You never know. Like, I just think where it's headed, I think it's going to be more aligned with what you're talking about, Bro Kage. Me personally, that's what I'm thinking with how he's setting it up. I think that we may see some of these true deaths, some of these like big moments. Because like you said, I mean, you can name the amount of people that we've seen actually die like on your hand. And off the top of my head, the only 2 I can really think of are Ace and Whitebeard. Those are the first 2 that come to my mind that we've seen die on screen.
And Pedro.
Oh yeah, Pedro, yeah, he died too. So yeah, so that's 3.
my headcanon is that Pell died. And
You think Pell died?
Pell had a twin brother.
And Pell's just got a twin. That's a good headcanon right there. Like, he said, Mike, hey, yo, Rody.
And got his memories.
Yo, I love how you started it off saying my headcanon. Like, let me just make sure that everybody knows this is headcanon. Good job.
I did want to mention.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait, before you hop up, I did want to mention. I heard you say you asking anybody watching any new anime.
Yes.
Have you guys watched Isekai Oji-san or like My Uncle from Another World yet?
No, I have not. Hey guys, I gotta get going. I do apologize.
Thank you so much for showing up, Okage. It was amazing having you, man. Anytime you see the shooting the shit, feel free to jump in, man.
Peace. Have a good one, guys. Peace. Peace. Kilo.
Hit me up, bro.
Yeah, I will. So I'm sorry, bro. Yes.
But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out the live. But thank you guys for joining. It means so much from all of us at Shooting the Shit. So thank y'all so much for joining us.
Yeah, peace, guys.
Hey, have a good one, yo. It was an honor.
Thank y'all. All righty. So
Franz is back there just waving around. He's muted.
yeah, he's good.
Can you hear me?
Hey man, that was a pretty interesting thing to like open it up for people to jump in via TikTok, and good thing this mic could pick it up and clear enough for everybody to hear what each other was saying.
I feel like it was super chaotic.
It was. We got too many people in there, but people kept sending the button, and I got tired of seeing it. But I'm gonna edit it out. We're gonna edit some of it out, so we're all good. We're all good. I think a lot of the stuff that Brokage was saying, we're gonna keep that shit in there because he was doing really fucking good. Like he was on it. Him and Jeremiah, I'll keep them in it, and everybody else near the anime segment, I'll just kind of cut it off. But to be real, we only have like one topic. Yeah. So we had a stand-in topic, and then we had this other one. But yeah, guys, I think that was a good episode. So thank you guys for coming in and seeing Shooting the Shit. It means a lot to all of us here. Even though Frost was not really here. So from me and Frost, thank you guys for showing up.
Sir.
This has been Shooting the Shit. There's only two of us. And right now, Frost is going to be Franz in the picture. Yeah.